The official cause behind Ronald Fenty's passing. A detailed look at the late father of Rihanna. On May 31st, the world lost Ronald Fenty, the father of global superstar Rihanna Fenty, better known simply as Rihanna. At the age of 70, Ronald Fenty passed away after battling several severe health complications. The official cause of death, as revealed in his death certificate and reported by TMZ on June 26, was acute respiratory failure, pancreatic cancer, and aspiration pneumonia. Additionally, the certificate listed acute renal failure and acute tubular necrosis as contributing factors. These multiple severe medical conditions combined ultimately led to his demise. Ronald's death was said to have occurred in the presence of his daughter, the Diamonds singer, who reportedly was by his side in his final moments. This was a significant moment for many fans and observers, considering the complicated history between Rihanna and her father. The complex relationship between Rihanna and Ronald Fenty. Rihanna and Ronald Fenty's relationship has long been the subject of media scrutiny and public interest. The father-daughter duo's connection was often described as strained, marked by tension and emotional distance over several years. The root cause of their difficulties has been widely attributed to Ronald's struggles with alcohol and drug abuse. In multiple interviews and media reports, it was clear that the relationship between them was far from easy. Rihanna herself has addressed the topic in candid terms, shedding light on the personal and familial challenges she faced growing up. In 2011, during an interview with Vogue, Rihanna opened up about the estrangement she experienced with her father. She described their relationship as really strange, revealing the emotional pain and complexity of their bond. She said, "You hear the horror stories about people going behind people's backs and doing strange things, but you always think, not my family. My father would never do that to me." This statement poignantly illustrates the shock and betrayal that Rihanna felt amid the breakdown of trust between them. For years, the tension between Ronald and Rihanna overshadowed their family dynamics, with publicized court battles and legal disputes adding to the strain. The fallout and legal battles. The friction between Ronald and Rihanna escalated to legal confrontations at various points. Reports of court cases involving Ronald surfaced, indicating serious disagreements and conflicts that made headlines. The precise details of these legal matters were kept relatively private, but they reflected a deeply troubled relationship. Despite the public turmoil, there were moments of hope for reconciliation. Over the years, both Ronald and Rihanna appeared to work toward mending their fractured relationship. This was evidenced by Ronald's own statements during the latter part of his life, where he indicated a desire to reconcile and rebuild the bond with his daughter. Reconciliation before his passing. Before Ronald's passing, reports confirmed that he and Rihanna had begun to repair their relationship after a long and tumultuous period. This reconciliation was a meaningful development for the family and fans alike, suggesting that despite past hardships, there was room for healing and forgiveness. Rihanna, known for her resilience and strength both in her career and personal life, reportedly made efforts to be present with her father in his final days. The presence of the Umbrella singer at Ronald's bedside signified not only familial duty but also a possible emotional closure to years of pain and estrangement. Ronald Fenty's health struggles. The medical conditions that contributed to Ronald's death reflect a severe decline in health. Pancreatic cancer, a particularly aggressive and often deadly disease, was central to his health struggles. Acute respiratory failure and aspiration pneumonia, both related to the lungs, further complicated his condition. The added diagnosis of acute renal failure and acute tubular necrosis show how multiple organ systems were affected. Pancreatic cancer is notoriously difficult to detect early and treat effectively. Its symptoms often remain hidden until the disease progresses significantly. For Ronald, this likely meant that by the time he was diagnosed or treated, the cancer had already caused severe damage to his body. Acute respiratory failure and aspiration pneumonia suggest that his lungs were under significant distress, possibly as a result of the cancer or related complications. Aspiration pneumonia occurs when food, stomach acid, or saliva is inhaled into the lungs, leading to infection and inflammation. This condition can be particularly dangerous in older adults and those with weakened health. Kidney complications such as acute renal failure and acute tubular necrosis indicate that Ronald's kidneys were also failing. This often happens when the kidneys suddenly stop working properly due to various causes including infection, dehydration, or toxicity. In Ronald's case, these conditions would have compounded his already critical state. Remembering Ronald Fenty beyond the headlines. Though Ronald Fenty is often known primarily as the father of one of the world's biggest music icons, It is important to remember him as a person who had his own struggles, his own story, and a complicated but real relationship with his daughter. His passing marks the end of a difficult chapter in the Fenty family's history. Rihanna's journey, from her early life in Barbados to global stardom, was deeply influenced by her family background. Her experiences growing up, including the challenges with her father, shaped her both personally and artistically. Despite the public ups and downs, Rihanna has always maintained a sense of respect and care for her family, even amidst adversity. The public and fan reactions. News of Ronald Fenty's passing was met with an outpouring of condolences from fans, celebrities, and the general public. Many expressed sympathy for Rihanna during this difficult time, acknowledging the complexity of grief when mixed with a complicated family past. Social media platforms saw tributes and messages of support for Rihanna, recognizing her as both a powerful figure in music and business and a daughter facing profound loss. Conclusion. The death of Ronald Fenty highlights not only the fragility of life but also the complexities of family relationships, especially when strained by addiction and hardship. While his passing brought sadness, it also brought moments of reconciliation and closure for Rihanna and her family. The legacy of Ronald Fenty will forever be intertwined with that of Rihanna's, reminding the world that behind every superstar is a personal story filled with joy, pain, struggle, and love.